a gangster, and he laid back and talent-wise.
You see, I ain't said nothing bad about him no more.
Yeah.
I ain't understand because I didn't know.
That's when I see him in the studio. He remind me like a young.
That's how I roll. That's nobody else,
We
man.
roll like that.
Okay, now.
All right. Big Lack. How you doing, Wayne? Big everything good? Got the whole family. Yeah.
Alright, so let me tell you something. This whole Birdman and NBA YoungBoy situation, it's getting weird. Like really weird. Because Charleston White just dropped some accusations that have everybody talking. And I know what you're thinking. Charleston White? That guy says anything for attention? Yeah, I hear you. But this time it feels different. He's not just ranting. He's pointing at something the industry's been whispering about for years. Something nobody wanted to say out loud. And it all comes back to one person, Birdman. So Charleston comes out and starts hinting that Birdman's relationships with these young rappers, they're off. Like way off. Now look, Charleston White is known for being chaotic. He says wild stuff all the time, but when he brought up Birdman, people stopped scrolling. They started paying attention, because it's not just random noise anymore. It feels like he's touching on an uncomfortable truth that the rap game has been avoiding for decades. And if you've been around long enough, you remember the Lil Wayne era. You remember that kiss. You remember people raising eyebrows back then, asking questions that never really got answered. Well, guess what? Those questions are back, and they're louder than ever. Charleston starts off going after NBA YoungBoy's fans, calling them emotional, saying they're too attached. Standard Charleston White energy, right?
They just stopped fighting and killing each other between YB, Dirk, King Von, Rondo, and all. They just stopped killing 2 years ago. And the fans was beefing and fighting amongst it. So all of a sudden you telling me it's kumbaya now? If that was the case, all of these trained law enforcement agencies wouldn't be on eggshells right now if that was the case.
But then he pivots, hard. He goes straight at Birdman.
Man, I say, homie, that nigga thorough. He still blooding it. Bandana out the back pocket, still looking like the man. Ain't nobody saying, Birdman, you looking like a young. So I don't want to hear that young. If you can play, you.
And he doesn't hold back. He's saying Birdman manipulates young rappers, controls them, gets in their heads and keeps them loyal through emotion, not business. And he's comparing it directly to what happened with Lil Wayne. Suddenly, this isn't just another internet rant. This is an allegation. A pattern being called out in real time. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. The more you look back at Birdman's history, the more the pieces start falling into place. Every young artist, every son, every relationship that starts with promise and ends in lawsuits or silence. Birdman's whole brand is built on family. Family first. Blood is thicker than water. We got. Sounds beautiful, right? Sounds like loyalty and love. But here's the thing. What if that family talk is actually just control? Think about it. Every young rapper that gets close to Birdman gets the exact same treatment. He calls them son. He moves them into his world. He promises protection, legacy, a future, security they never had growing up. And at first, it looks wholesome. It looks like mentorship. It looks like someone finally stepping up to give these kids what they never got. But then things start to shift. Things get complicated. Things go wrong. It happened with Wayne. It happened with Young Thug. And now, it's happening with NBA YoungBoy. The blueprint is always the same. Find someone young and hungry. Someone who came from nothing. Someone desperate for guidance and stability. Build them up. Earn their trust. Make them dependent. Then tighten the grip. It's not literal grooming, but it is emotional manipulation disguised as love. And that might be even more dangerous. Because how do you escape someone you genuinely believe saved your life? Let's rewind for a second. Because if you want to understand what's happening now, you gotta look back at Wayne. Old clips started resurfacing recently. You've seen them.
All right. Big Lack. How you doing, Wayne? Big everything good? Got the whole family. Yeah.
Birdman and Wayne, that kiss on the lips, over and over again. In public, on camera, like it was normal. Birdman said it was fatherly love, that it was innocent, that people just didn't understand their bond, that it was a cultural thing outsiders wouldn't get. But here's what people forget. Wayne was barely in his 20s when those clips were filmed, and he'd been around Birdman since he was a child, since he was 11 years old. The issue isn't the act itself, it's the power dynamic behind it. Birdman was Wayne's mentor, his manager, his boss, his father figure, all at once. All blurred together into one complicated, messy relationship where Wayne couldn't tell where one role ended and another began. And when you blur those lines that much, when you mix business, family, and control, things get messy. Things get toxic. Things get exploitative. Birdman controlled Wayne's music, his money, his image, his career decisions. Everything ran through him. And Wayne, he thought it was love. He thought it was protection. He thought that's just how family worked in the industry. Fast forward to NBA YoungBoy. He's dealing with legal drama, personal struggles, baby mama issues, federal charges. The world's closing in on him. And who shows up? Birdman, the savior. Again, he calls YoungBoy the biggest rapper of this generation. High praise, public cosign, instant credibility from a legend.
NBA YoungBoy, bro, that shit ain't normal. Nah, he not normal. He's special. Big money right there, brother. I think he's a $1 billion nigga.
Then Birdman moves into YoungBoy's home in Utah, not for a weekend, not for a few weeks, for months. And the relationship, it gets close, really close, uncomfortably close to some people watching from the outside. Birdman starts leaning heavy into that father-son dynamic again. Same energy, same language, same vibe, same playbook he ran with Wayne decades earlier. But here's the problem. Birdman's version of mentorship doesn't seem to empower artists. It isolates them, it changes them, it makes them smaller, not bigger. During those months in Utah, something shifted with YoungBoy. If you were paying attention, you saw it. The change was obvious. No more random IG lives. No more raw, unfiltered interviews. No more of that uncut NBA YoungBoy energy we were used to seeing. Everything started going through Birdman's circle. Everything got filtered. Every move got calculated. The price of protection seemed to be silence. The cost of guidance seemed to be control. And YoungBoy, this kid who built his whole brand on being open, emotional, vulnerable, and real with his fans, suddenly seemed reprogrammed, like Birdman's influence was reshaping him, molding him to fit Birdman's legacy, not his own, making him another chapter in the Cash Money story instead of writing his own book. When mentorship starts limiting your freedom, that's not guidance anymore, that's ownership, that's possession. Let's go back to Wayne one more time, because this is where it gets heartbreaking. This is where you see how deep it goes. Wayne met Birdman at 11 years old. 11. He was a child, a baby, and Birdman raised him in this world. Fame, money, loyalty, the streets, the music, all of it. Wayne saw him as a father, trusted him completely, loved him unconditionally, would have done anything for him, until it all fell apart. Wayne accused Birdman of withholding his music, his money, his freedom.
I gave Wayne about $400 to $500 million. Drake got about $500 million, and Nicki got about $300-400 million out my pocket. No cap. They don't believe me, ask them.
The lawsuit was for tens of millions of dollars. It exposed how much control Birdman really had over Wayne's entire career. Over his life, their relationship, it's distant now. Strictly business. The love is gone. What's left is just complicated history and unhealed wounds. And fans are terrified that YoungBoy's headed down the same path. Loyal but trapped. Grateful but controlled. Successful but owned. Here's what people don't talk about enough. The thing that makes this so insidious. Both Wayne and YoungBoy came from struggle. Real struggle. They came from broken homes, broken systems, broken childhoods where nobody cared if they lived or died. They were looking for family, for stability, for someone to believe in them when nobody else did, and they found it in Birdman. But they paid a price. Wayne lost control of his music, his millions, years of his creative prime spent in legal battles. YoungBoy lost his peace and independence, his voice, his freedom to just be himself without filters, and despite everything, despite the lawsuits, the drama, the distance, the pain, both of them still call Birdman Pops. They still show loyalty. They still defend him when people ask questions. That's not mentorship. That's emotional dependency. That's trauma bonding. That's manipulation built over years and years of carefully constructed trust and affection. So yeah, Charleston White is messy. He's chaotic. He says things just to get a reaction. He thrives on controversy and attention. But this time, he said what a lot of people were thinking but were too scared to say. He broke the silence that's protected Birdman for decades. Birdman's father figure act might not be about love. It might not even be about mentorship or giving back to the community. It might just be about control, about power, about building a legacy on the backs of broken kids who just wanted someone to care about them. Lil Wayne escaped, eventually, after years of legal warfare and emotional exhaustion. But he's got scars, deep ones that'll never fully heal. NBA YoungBoy, he's still caught in it, still in the middle of the story. And nobody knows how this chapter ends yet. But here's what we do know. When the same man keeps showing up in the same type of story, over and over again across different decades, with different artists but the same outcome, that's not coincidence. That's a pattern. And if history keeps repeating itself, if the same script keeps playing out with different actors, it's not just a pattern anymore. It's a plan.